Yeah, I think if they were healthy, they would have a different record. I think that LaRon Black got hurt. Tracy Abrams got hurt. Kendrick Nunn missed Michigan State game, and obviously Thorne. So, I think if they were healthy, you're looking at a very talented team. Not to say they're not talented now, but they're obviously coming off a tough loss. So we know they'll be extremely hungry, and it's something where we just got to be ready to go. Obviously, they're a very good team.
We scout them, and Thorne is part of the mix. He didn't play, I think, for like 60 minutes in the last game, but he was pretty effective. Do you go back when he was there and he was obviously playing at a high level? Is that what you're expecting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when he's in the game, they're going to him. They're really trying to get it to him. So we've got to be ready for that. It's something you could tell last game that's what they were looking to do. He was a good get for them as a fifth-year senior. We know he's got talent. Obviously, he was hurt. And the more time he gets back on the court, the more they'll knock the rust off. So we've got to be prepared for him, obviously.
Carlos, obviously had a good game last game, and you were just kind of talking about him, being kind of that senior presence that maybe we haven't seen consistently all year this year. Do you feel like that's something that he can do, the way that he played and the way that he really acted, when times were tough last game? Is that something he can do consistently?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the one thing about Carlos that, he's good at a lot of things, but I think what he's really good at is he's never scared. I mean, he's never scared. He's played some of his best games on the road. At Michigan State last year, he was pretty good. He's like at Maryland, I thought was pretty good. Shot a bunch of shots, I remember last year. But he's never scared of the moment, and that's what you need with leadership, is just being fearless. He has that, definitely. But like anybody else on our team, he's not perfect. So, there's just times where defensively he hurts us. And, not that everybody else is perfect, but there's sometimes we got to get him off the court because of the defensive part of it. But he's got the ability to make shots, and he's not scared to shoot them.
Do you think that when he is making shots that he kind of changes his whole deal? I mean, it seemed like he hit those two big threes at the end of the first half. In the second, he was driving, he was more aggressive on the boards defensively, and even just seems like when he has a good game with the media, he's better. He's more talkative. He has more things to say.
Well, that's natural, isn't it? I mean, when I think that's normal. When we lose, I don't want to talk to you guys. I mean, that's.
Never really?
No, I think that I don't know how many guys are really good. Yeah, I think it's natural.
Other stuff too.
Yeah, I think when the ball goes in the basket, I think guys are more confident. I think that's everywhere. And I think that's been a bit of our problem this year is we're not a great offensive team, and we've allowed our defense and our rebounding to be affected. I think the last two games we have not, and that's why we've played better. But, yeah, I think Carlos likes to see the ball go in the basket, and he certainly is affected by it.
You said that when you went to Nebraska, obviously I wasn't there, but I heard.
Yeah, you were missed.
You expected your team to play a little better, maybe going away from home where there was a lot of pressure when you lost a lot of home games and the energy wasn't there, and they didn't, but they came back and they played well versus Indiana at home. Pretty good crowd. When you're at home and you do get that energy from the crowd and you're playing well, I mean, is that the best that you think you've seen these guys, Michigan State, Indiana? I mean, some of these games were.
I think we're pretty good last game too.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, so just are we better at home?
Yeah, I mean, when you do get that energy from the crowd when you're playing.
It's important. Yeah, it's important. I mean, I think that yeah, anytime we're playing here and the place is good, it's really tough to beat us. That's the thing about the Big Ten. It's very hard to win on the road. And I think we've shown, over the last 3 years, when this place is rocking, it's really, really tough. And it's always a vital part of kind of our program building. I've always thought one of the reasons why this could be a very good job is because of the fan support and the fact that you can get a great home court advantage. Because in the Big Ten it's prevalent, but I think in college basketball, you're not always getting these crowds like you used to. It's just for whatever reason, maybe TV. So when we get it good here, it's really good.
And then, if you were to get a win, break that streak, and it's here, I know no matter where it is, it's going to be great for this team. But if it were here with the crowd there, the way that you guys did, the fan base right now is kind of screaming for you guys, obviously, to get that first win. For to do it at home, how much would that mean?
We could play in Spain. I wouldn't care as long as we're winning. But yeah, I think it'd be great. I think it's just important to find a way to get a win. I don't think it's rare for fans to be uneasy when you lose. I think that's everywhere. That's kind of we've always discussed that shouldn't be the reason why we're out there playing. Doesn't mean that we don't appreciate our fans. I think our fans are great, but it's our fight, and that's something we talk about a lot. So it's the next game, So I mean, I getting it home would be great because that's the next game more than anything.
You talked about Carlos last time, just maybe having a little bit more of that emotion than sometimes we see from him on the court. Is there anything that stuck out to you in that game? Emotion-wise, or just something he's doing, and do you ever get a little frustrated with him for not seeing some of that as much?
Yeah, I mean, he hit that second three in the first half, and I thought he showed some emotion that our guys rallied around a little bit. He's not unemotional. He's really not. He appears that way because he's quiet, but he's not unemotional. He's actually pretty emotional, but he's quiet. And, my gripe with him is not necessarily emotion. It's defense.
And you talked about when you first changed the lineup and he went on the bench, you said that he took it really well. Has everything been as normal with that with him?
He took it really well, and I was surprised. Not necessarily because he resists coaching, because he doesn't. He's coachable, but I just didn't know how he'd handle it. I think he's got a very good understanding of it. I think he's growing up. I think I'm very appreciative of the way he's handled it because, we're not losing games because of him. It's a collective effort. And that's why I'm not a big fan of all the starting lineup talk because you change it and then everybody thinks, okay, it's those guys' fault. It's not. But, you got to change things up, give it a different look. But he has handled it tremendously.
Forced you to play, force the right word, to play Bugs more. The stats didn't necessarily show it, but did you feel like he provided something for you?
Yeah, I thought he was defensively pretty good. I think he did some good things with his length, closing out on shooters. He's offensively, we're working on expanding his game. He shoots a lot of three-point shots. Where it's now working on going by guys, creating. But I thought defensively he did a lot of good things.
And that's something that you really had no choice, kind of, but to fill it with him. Would you look at another? You played Stephon Sharp a lot too in that game.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure that out, like that rotation.
No, I mean we don't have a whole lot of other options.
Gilbert,
Yeah, we don't have a lot of options, so that's what we're gonna have to do.
When you look at the freshmen, I know Dorsey came in with a lot of pressure on him because he was your top recruit. Jordan maybe kind of surprised some people. I don't know how well he's playing, and then Dupree. This whole freshman class, how do you evaluate them right now and how they provided for this?
Well, I didn't put a lot of pressure on Kevin Dorsey, so I think that's kind of rankings and all those things. I don't concern myself with that. I thought Kevin was coming into a situation where he could learn from Nate. I think that his best basketball is ahead of him. I think he's just got to continue to get better. I think that the college game is affecting him a little bit because he had so much speed. He has so much speed and athleticism. He could get away with that in high school and AAU, or maybe not as much here. So he's just learning and understanding the game. which I think his future is very, very bright. I think when we signed Jordan, regardless of what the rankings or what you're tweeting about, I thought that he was going to be a very good player, and we were excited about him. I thought Ahmad was the one I had said from day one I thought would take the most time, just from a speed standpoint. And he's starting to get quicker, and that's helped him. And then Dupree, I think, has got great upside. So I think with all four of those guys, they're going to grow, and I think that was the goal with this team. More than anything, was bringing in guys who can get better and have great upside, and I think they have that. We were going to go through some growing pains this year. When you have a young team like we do, that's it. But the great part about it is it's all valuable experiences for them this year.
Did Dupree improve the most from day one? I know because he came. I mean, even physically, he's quite a bit.
Either him or Jordan, probably. I think that Jordan's improved greatly. I think Ahmad, to get to where he's at right now, has improved tremendously. I think they all have improved.
You've talked about defense plenty with Carlos, and you've said lower body strength, quickness, but regardless of maybe those sort of physical limitations, you want to see him be a little bit scrappier defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he was better. Thing I use with him a lot is resistance. He's got to provide more resistance on the ball, and I do think a lot of his strength. I do think he's got a weak lower body. I think he's become more willing and he's gotten better at it. Unfortunately, he's only got about a month and a half left, and he's going to move on. But I think he's willing to do it. I just think hasn't been playing, Big Ten basketball for a long time. So it's I definitely think it's a strength issue for sure.
Nate obviously had a really great game last game, but just in talking to him, he seemed like he's not himself lately. He seems really down after the last two games when he's played pretty well for the most part.
You prefer him to be just, I scored 25 points,
forget
the team.
No, I mean, he seemed abnormally down. I don't know if he takes it harder than other people or.
No, I don't. I think everybody's down right now. We've lost a lot of games. I don't sense a difference with him over a different player.
Maybe he just doesn't like us.
Highly possible, very likely. I don't know. No, you're dealing with college kids who may not know how to act after a game when they lose, but I don't sense that he's more down than any of the other guys. I mean, this is tough. We lost a lot of games. So I don't think anyone's real happy. And I do think I'm sensing we're playing better. Doesn't mean we're going to win tomorrow. We get a whole new opportunity and challenge right in front of us.
Did you see any difference in confidence or yesterday in practice, just after the way that you guys have played for the last 2
Well, yeah, I mean, practice day after a game, and we got back so late, so we took it easy on them. I think they sense that they're playing better. I definitely feel that way. I think one of a concern of mine is, all right, you've played pretty well the last 2 games. Now are you going to assume we're going to win tomorrow? Just like if you play like crap doesn't mean you can't win the next game. So tomorrow's a whole new opportunity. I think if we continue to stick to getting better defensively, getting better rebounding the ball, we'll play well. And I think that's the biggest thing we've been focusing on more than anything.